Spiritual Strongholds. GotQuestions.org provides a biblical view on spiritual strongholds below. The enemy is firmly entrenched. These strongholds have been guarded for thousands of years, presenting a great wall of resistance to the truth. None of this deters the Christian warrior, however. Using the weapons of God's choosing, he attacks the strongholds, and by the miraculous power of Christ, the walls are breached, and the bastions of sin and error are battered down. The victorious Christian enters the ruins and leads captive, as it were, every false theory and every human philosophy that had once proudly asserted its independence from God. Sharing the gospel is not the only time we see resistance. We can also face demonic strongholds in our own lives, in our own families, and even in our own churches. Anyone who has fought an addiction, struggled with pride, or had to flee youthful lusts knows that sin, a lack of faith, and a worldly outlook on life are indeed strongholds. I believe that understanding and being able to identify spiritual strongholds in our life as Christians is one of the first steps to conquering them. Interestingly, a significant degree of our spiritual maturity and growth as Christians is dependent on how effectively we make war with these spiritual strongholds. Each day we wake up, we are faced with the decision to equip ourselves with the armor of God or not. We must understand that even though God has finished the work through His Son on the cross, we are responsible to continually walk in obedience and to access the spiritual means of grace freely given to us. The spiritual toolkit in the form of God's armor and the reservoir of His grace is definitely there for the Christian, but it still needs to be accessed by faith in order to be effective. Tragically, so many ignorant Christians fail to live their spiritual lives in victory and instead choose to live defeated lives. As they listen to the lies of the enemy, they begin to believe them. These lies gain a foothold in the minds of the believer, leading to a crippled and ineffective life as a Christian. Rather than reclaiming the authority they have in Christ in order to overcome the dominion of sin, they allow themselves to remain spiritually complacent and unfruitful.